Welcome back to Time of God series, Bible study with me, WendyMichelle Thompson. Hello guys, I hope you are having a great day whenever you see this video. Pleasant night, morning, great day, because the Lord made it. Today we are picking up in the reading of Numbers 11. And the people grumbled and deplored their hardships, which was evil in the ears of the Lord. And when the Lord heard it, his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Lord burned among them and devoured those in the outlying parts of the camp. The people cried to Moses, and when Moses prayed to the Lord, the fire subsided. He called the name of the place Taberah, which means burning, because the fire of the Lord burned among them. And the mixed multitude among them, the rabble who followed Israel from Egypt, began to lust greatly for familiar and dainty food. And the Israelites wept again and said, "Who will give us meat to eat?" Verse 5, "We remember the fish we ate freely in Egypt and without cost, the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. But now our soul, our strength is dried up. There is nothing at all in the way of food to be seen but this manna." Can you see it? The grumbling, the complaining. God had been providing them with this manna from heaven, but they were sick of it. We've all done similar things and don't appreciate what we have. Oh, same old, and grumble for something more. But that tends to get you in hot water a lot because you start crossing the line. And they were definitely crossing the line by complaining to God. But now our soul, our strength is dried up. There is nothing at all in the way of food to be seen but this manna. The recap. The manna was like coriander seed, and its appearance was like that of bdellium, perhaps a precious stone. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not. I looked it up and I didn't see it. But it's bdellium. The people went about and gathered it, and ground it in mills, or beat it in mortars, and boiled it in pots, and made cakes of it, and it tasted like cakes baked with fresh oil. And when the dew fell on the camp in the night, the manna fell with it. Verse 10, and Moses heard the people weeping throughout their families, every man at the door of his tent. And the anger of the Lord blazed hotly, and in the eyes of Moses it was evil. And Moses said to the Lord, "Why have you dealt ill with your servants? And why have I not found favor in your sight, that you lay the burden of all this people on me? Have I conceived all these people? Have I brought them forth that you should say to me, 'Carry them in your bosom,' as a nursing father carries a sucking child to the land which he swore to their fathers to give them?" I can understand where Moses is coming from and his frustration and the whining people. It's this whole little area here is not really to jump at God. It's just to put into perspective. He's like, oh, I've got to vent. And who better to vent to but God? Obviously, he really couldn't do it with Aaron and his sister and any of his people. So, he's saying, God, what gives here with these people? It's like I'm breastfeeding them and they just whine, whine, whine. Where should I get meat to give to all these people? For they weep before me and say, give us meat that we may eat. I am not able to carry all these people alone because the burden is too heavy for me. Verse 15. And if this is the way you deal with me, kill me, Lord, I pray you at once, and be granting me a favor, and let me not see my wretchedness in the failure of my efforts. And the Lord said to Moses, gather for me 70 men of the elders of Israel whom you know, the elders of the people and officers over them, and bring them to the tent of meeting, and let them stand there with you. And I will come down and talk with you there, and I will take up the spirit which is upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, so that you may not have to bear it yourself alone. I don't know, Moses was thinking, thank you, thank you, thank you. What a true, tremendous burden Moses had. I know it's hard to just to have peace with a small family, 3 or 4 people or a handful of kids. Can you imagine thousands upon thousands of my ring light just fell. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm leaving that in for a good blooper. Excuse me one moment, please. I'm back. Sorry about that. Thank God I wasn't using it. Oh, wow. I've never had... It just all of a sudden just went boom, like someone knocked it over. I am the only one in this room. Oh, wow. Well, yes. Thankfully, it did not break. I don't know what caused it to fall over. It's so strange. Anyways, let's see, where were we? Okay, so God was telling Moses that he was not going to have him bear the burden of the people and their whining and all this by himself. And say to the people, consecrate yourselves for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat, for you have wept in the hearing of the Lord, saying, who will give us meat to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you meat, and you shall eat. You shall not eat 1 day, or 2, or 5, or 10, or 20 days. Verse 20. But a whole month, until you are satiated, whatever, and vomit it up violently, and it comes out of your nostrils and is disgusting to you. Woo! Because you have rejected and despised the Lord who is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why did we come out of Egypt? Verse 21, but Moses said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen. besides all the women and children. And you have said, I will give them meat, that they may eat a whole month. Shall flocks and herds be killed to suffice them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be collected to satisfy them? The Lord said to Moses, has the Lord's hand, his ability and power, become short, thwarted, and inadequate? You shall see now whether my word shall come to pass for you or not. So Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and he gathered 70 men of the elders of the people and set them around about the tent. Verse 25. And the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to him, and took of the Spirit that was upon him, and put it upon the 70 elders. And when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied, sounding forth the praises of God and declaring his will. Then they did so no more. But there remained 2 men in the camp named Eldad and Medad. The Spirit rested upon them, and they were of those who were selected and listed. Yet they did not go out to the tent as told to do, but they prophesied in the camp. And a young man ran to Moses and said, Eldad and Medad are prophesying, sounding forth the praises of God and declaring his will in the camp. Joshua, son of Nun, the minister of Moses, one of his chosen men, said, My lord Moses forbid them. But Moses said to him, Are you envious or jealous for my sake? Would that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his Spirit upon them? Verse 30. And Moses went back into the camp, he and the elders of Israel. And there went forth a wind from the Lord, and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall. So they flew low beside the camp, about a day's journey on this side and on the other side, all around the camp, about 2 cubits above the ground. And I just found out that a cubit is about 18 inches. So 2 cubits would be 36 inches above the ground. And the people rose all that day and all night and all the next day, and caught and gathered the quails. He who gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they spread out for themselves around the camp to cure them by drying. While the meat was yet between their teeth, before it was consumed, the anger of the Lord was kindled against the people, and the Lord smote them with a very great plague. That place was called Kibroth Hattaavah, the graves of sensuous desire, because there they buried the people who lusted, whose physical appetite caused them to sin. The Israelites journeyed from Kibroth Hattaavah to Hazeroth, where they remained. And that concludes the reading of Numbers 11. It was some excitement during that one, guys. Oh, man. Whew, you see a ring light go down. But, I'm using the soft lights because I do not have my contacts in. My eyes have been bothering me today. I wanted to wear my glasses, and so I don't like seeing the ring light. You can try to move and adjust and whatnot so that it doesn't show up in your glasses. It's a big pain trying to get it to all work logistically. But anyways, I missed you guys. I've had to take a little bit of time off just to deal with some family issues. It's never easy, guys. It's never easy. But it's not promised that it will be. But God does give us faith and hope that He is with us, and He will not give us more than we can handle, and that He is not only carrying us, sort of like the little footsteps poem, when there's only one set of footsteps. That's when God was carrying us. He carries us quite a bit, but He's always ahead of us. He has everything ready and in perspective. Our human minds can't see the big picture. He does, and I trust that. But I truly just needed some downtime, and I think everyone can relate to that. I love all of you. Thank you so much for joining me in these Bible readings. If it is a blessing to you, please give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe and hit the notifications. And I have some surprises coming up as far as videos. It's a little different than what you've seen, and I'm pretty excited, and that's all I'm gonna say, because every time I give you guys too many hints, something makes it fall through. So anyways, I love you all. God bless you. Your today and all your tomorrows. See you soon.